Hello everyone, this is Rick. Welcome to another episode of the Mauryan Empire series. And today we are going to discuss about the urban centers during the Mauryan period. Hence this video is titled as Mauryan cities. We are going to discuss the causes of urbanization, how was the city layout, and then we are going to dive deep into the different important Mauryan archaeological sites. Hence, this is going to be a video focusing on archaeological sites only. Without doing any delay, let's get into details. Urban growth during the Mauryan period. Urban growth means growth of cities during the Mauryan period. The 3rd and 2nd centuries BC witnessed significant urban expansion and complexity in areas like Kashmir, Punjab, and Lower Ganga Valley. So, these are the areas where major urbanization and development took place, like in the places of Kashmir, Punjab, and Lower Ganga Valley. And Lower Ganga Valley was completely inhabited before the Mauryan period. The growth in Maurya Empire cities reflected in systematic planning and development of trade routes and guild organization. So, why was there a sudden development among the cities? It was because the development of cities provided for the trade routes, and Mauryan Empire was very much focused on commercial activities, and also the guild organization, which means committees of trading guilds. They also played a vital role in the growth of urbanization. Urban development was marked by an increase in the use of money as a medium of exchange and interest. So, when there is urban development, that means there must have been surplus production, and when there is surplus production, there will be commercial activities. This led to the increase in the use of monetization, where money was used as a medium of exchange and interest. The Mauryan period saw early signs of royal inscriptions in places like Anuradhapura and Kodumanal. So these are the places where we get early signs of royal inscriptions. Significant urban centers from this era include both newly founded cities and expansion of older settlements. If you go through my video series on second urbanization, you will know that before the Mauryan dynasty itself, there were many cities in the northern and central part of Indian subcontinent. So during the Mauryan period, those cities became more developed, and also there were a few cities which were newly founded during this time. Specialized crafts and monetization. Specialized crafts means a section of society where people were dedicated towards the production of a certain kind of craft material only. And we are also going to see what were the money practices during the Mauryan period. Megasthenes describes Pataliputra as a crucial center for crafts and trade, highlighting the city's economic significance. So, Pataliputra was not only the capital of Mauryan Empire, it was also a place which was very significant for commercial activities. And here there were specialized craft centers dedicated to specific trade items only. In cities like Anuradhapura and Kodumanal, evidence of specialized craftsmanship have been found along with guild organization. So, in these cities, we get instances where people used to dedicate themselves towards production of a certain good only. And there was also a committee that used to regulate trade, hence, there was presence of guild organization. Northern black polished ware NBPW levels indicate the presence of advanced material culture and economic activities. So NBPW is a very fine pottery and also is an indicator of Mauryan period site. Hence, the presence of NBPW indicates to the fact that there was advanced material culture. Usage of coins and introduction of a standardized system of weights and measures for trade were practiced during this time. The period shows a shift from barter to monetary transactions using metal currency. So punched mark coins were used during this period as as a system of monetary transaction, and before that we get instances of barter system where people used to take something by giving something else. Greek sources on Pataliputra. Pataliputra was the capital city of the Mauryan Empire, and during those time, different Greek sources mention the city Pataliputra, especially Megasthenes' Indica. Megasthenes noted Pataliputra as a fortified city surrounded by wooden wall with 64 gates and 570 towers. So he mentioned uh, the situation of Patliputra in great detail, and he said that there was a wooden wall around the city. So we get instances of fortification, and also there were 64 gates and 570 towers in the city of Patliputra. His accounts helped historians link the city to the region and flanked by old courses of Son and Ganga rivers. So he has described that Patliputra is a city where the region has been flanked by Son and Ganga rivers. If you want to know about what Megasthenes wrote in the text Indica, then please go through my video where I have discussed about Megasthenes and his writing the Indica. Patliputra is identified as a significant archaeological and historical site with extensive urban planning. So, we get instances of extensive urban planning from the city of Patliputra. Megasthenes' descriptions provide insights into the layout and scale of Mauryan cities. From here, we come to know about the dimensions and size the area covered by the Mauryan cities. Contemporary research uses Megasthenes' writing to correlate archaeological findings with historical accounts. So, Megasthenes' writing help us to correlate the archaeological findings with that of the literary sources. Kumrahar and Bulandibagh. So this is an important site, two important sites which corresponds to the city of Patliputra. Kumrahar site excavations revealed a pillared hall consisting of 80 pillars arranged in 10 rows of 8 pillars each. So there were 10 rows of pillars and each row had 8 pillars each. Therefore, we get an evidence of a pillared hall from the site of Kumrahar. The dimensions of pillared hall at Kumrahal are substantial with remnants of 10 parallel rows suggesting a large communal or ceremonial space. So this must have been a very large communal and ceremonial space which were used for town gatherings. At Bulandibagh, which is very near to Kumrahar, we find archaeological finds including remnants of wooden palisade, which means fortification, as Megasthenes had stated that the city was surrounded by a wooden wall consisting of two parallel walls separated by wooden uprights approximately 3.75 meter in width. So not only do we get evidences of the wooden wall as Megasthenes had suggested, but we get definite evidences regarding the dimensions like width and length of the wooden wall. These fortifications highlight the military and defensive aspects of Mauryan architecture and urban design. So, from here, we get to know that Mauryan urban centers were very much considered, were very much concerned about their security features. The structural complexity and scale of these sites provide insight into the architectural sophistication during the Mauryan period. So, we get and understanding regarding the architectural sophistication of the Mauryan urban plannings. Weed Mound at Taxila. Taxila is one of the most important sites in whole of Indian's history, especially during the Mauryan times. The Weed Mound at Taxila, dating to the 3rd century BC, revealed a settlement planned with streets between 3 and 5 meters wide. So this mound dating to 3rd century BC has a very planned settlements where we find that the streets had width of 3 meters and 5 meters. Excavations uncovered houses arranged around courtyards, often paved with stone, showing early signs of urban planning. So the houses were around the courtyards, and the courtyard was paved with stone. The site featured rough stone pillars about 0.91 meter high, used as cornerstones for structure. So these were cornerstones for structure, and the length of such pillars were 0.91 meter. Evidence of civic planning includes covered drains and refuse bins in open spaces, indicating a structured approach to sanitation and waste management. So, people were very much concerned about their hygiene, and that we come to know from the features like covered drains and refuse bins. The stratigraphy and layout provide insights into the daily lives and organizational structure of Taxila during the Mauryan era. Ropar. Ropar is another important site of the Mauryan period, and excavations at Ropar revealed occupation layers from the Mauryan period. Here, Ropar is also an important Harappan site. That does not mean that it was reserved for Harappan features only. Later on, during the Mauryan times, also people resided in this place, and hence we get Mauryan features. The site featured northern black polished ware and inscriptions in Maurya Brahmi script. So this is very important for the presence of inscription in Mauryan Brahmi, and also it features the indicator of the period, that is northern black polished ware. Archaeological findings include fortified walls and soak pits suggesting complex water management systems. So we get an existence of a defensive structure in the form of fortified walls and also soak pits, which suggest that there was proper attention paid towards hygiene. The structural remains at Ropar highlight a sophisticated level of urban planning and architecture from the Mauryan era. So, the structural remains provide that there was advancement in the level of urban planning. The city's artifacts and inscriptions provide a crucial link to understanding the extent of Mauryan urban expansion. Bhita. Bhita is another important site which is located near Prayagraj, earlier known as Allahabad. Excavations at Vita were conducted by Alexander Cunningham. So, Alexander Cunningham, the founder of ASI, led the first excavations at Vita in the 19th century. The site features two main streets and archaeological remains referred to as House of Guild. So we find a house where the archaeological remains suggest that this must have been a place where administrative works of the trading guild or the trading committee used to be conducted. And also we get existence of two main streets in the site of Bhita. The streets at Vita did not run straight but were often winding, which is typical of Mauryan city planning. So, in Mauryan cities, we don't find straight lanes which crisscrosses each other. We find winding streets, and this has been seen in Vita also. Vita's archaeological layering provides insight into the residential and commercial structures of the period. The discoveries at Vita help illustrate the spread of urbanization during the Mauryan period. Now, Mathura and Sonk, these are important sites which are situated in very close proximity to each other. Mathura and Sonk date back to the Mauryan period with findings including terracotta figurines, coins, and iron artifacts. So here there was existence of terracotta figurines, we get coins, and also we get iron artifacts. Iron is a typical feature of the Indian subcontinent during the 6th century BC, starting from the 6th century BC. In Mathura, excavations revealed a fortified structure and urban settlement over 25 hectares. So, the fortified structure and urban settlement had a span of over 25 hectares. The sites featured layers with northern black polished ware NBPW, indicating a high level of material culture. So, here also we get the indicator where that is NBPW, and thus we come to understand that there was a high level of material culture. Dimensions of structural remains include fortifications and urban planning, indicating significant trade and administrative centers. So, the structural remains and their dimensions show to the fact that there was proper fortification and urban planning, and these are only possible when there is significant amount of trading done in the city along with different administrative centers. These findings provide crucial data on urban development and spread of Mauryan culture in North India. Atranjikhera, this is another important site which revealed the first evidence of writing from the Mauryan period, showing an advancement in communication and record keeping. So, Atranjikhera is very much significant because for it is from this site that we get first evidence of writing, and that shows that there was a proper method of communication, and also the record keeping feature of the Mauryan period is projected through this writing. The significant finds include a well modeled female bust, animal figurines, and terracotta playing balls, indicating a rich cultural life. So we get an evidence of a female bust. It may have been it may give an impression of a female deity, and also we get animal figurines which may have some religious significance, and there are terracotta playing balls also. The granary structure at the site included multiple levels, suggesting extensive storage capabilities with thick mud plaster mixed with rice husk. So, this is a site where we find granaries, and thus we get to understand that there was very much of a surplus production which used to be stored in these sites. Votive tanks found at the site are often indicative of religious practices, often made from local materials like terracotta. Votive tanks are also found in these sites, which indicate to the fact that people had very much dedication towards their religious practices. Atranjikhera offers a comprehensive view of the Mauryan period lifestyle with artifacts representing daily life, commerce, and religion. Shravasti, Pundravardhana, Vangar, and Tamluk. These are important sites which have very common features among them. Hence, it is better to discuss them together. Shravasti fortifications are dated around 250 BC, indicating significant Mauryan influence. So, this is a site which is dated around 250 BC, and there is adequate amount of fortification in this site. Pundravardhana and Vangar in the lower Ganga valley show structures from the Mauryan period, including a large fort at Vangar. So, Vangar fort is very much significant, and it can be dated from the Mauryan period itself. Pundravardhana is recently in currently in the country of Bangladesh. Hence, these fortifications show that there was a very important attention paid towards the security features of an urban site. Tomluk is identified with Tamrolipti is the eastern terminal point of the Maurya road network with artifacts dating back to the Mauryan era. So this is the site identified with ancient Tamralipti, and it is a very important point of communication. These sites collectively highlight the Mauryan Empire's extensive urban planning and fortified city structures. Archaeological finds from all these sites include pottery, inscriptions, and fortified gateways that delineate the extent of Mauryan urban expansion. Shishupalgarh and Jaugada. These are important sites currently situated in the state of Odisha. Shishupalgarh and Jaugada represents the important Mauryan prayer sites in Odisha with definitive urban characteristics. These sites have very prominent urban features in them. Excavations show Shishupalgarh had sophisticated urban planning with evidence of structured layout. So the layout of the city was very much structured with sophisticated urban planning. Jaugada is known for its large fortified structure, pointing to its strategic importance during the Mauryan period. So there was a prominent fortification in the site of Jaugada. The artifacts from these sites include pottery, inscriptions, and architectural remains that reflect Mauryan architectural style. Both sides provide significant insight into the urban and defensive strategies of the Mauryan period. Vairat. Vairat is one of the most important places in ancient Indian history, and the Vairat of Mauryan time is significant for the stupa which was found in it. Vairat is identified as an important Mauryan site with extensive archaeological remains. Excavations have uncovered structures from 3rd 2nd century BC extending to post Maurya period. So this was a site of continuous occupation for around 500 years. Hence, we get structures from 3rd or 2nd century BC extending up to post Maurya period. The structural remains included parallel walls and soak pits made of terracotta rings, indicative of sophisticated construction techniques. So we get evidences of soak pits and also parallel walls which indicate that there was a proper amount of attention paid towards sanitation. The terracotta rings also indicate sophisticated construction techniques. Bairat's findings underscore the architectural and civic planning prevalent during the Mauryan era. This site provides valuable insights into the spread and influence of Mauryan urban design principles. Baroch. Baroch is a site situated in Gujarat, and it is an important port city throughout ancient Indian history. Baroch or Baruch is a key site in Gujarat where detailed excavations were conducted. The site revealed a 25 feet thick deposit marked by BRW with NBPW in the upper level. So, this is a site where we find black and red ware along with northern black polished ware, and the cultural layer has a width of 25 feet thick deposit, which is a very much which shows that there was very much activities conducted in this site during the Mauryan era. Five terracotta ring wells found on its inner side highlight the engineering capabilities of the time. So we find existence of wells which acted as water source, and those wells were conducted using terracotta were constructed using terracotta rings, and five such ring wells have been found from this site. Unfinished and finished beads of semi precious stones were found, suggesting a thriving bead manufacturing industry. So, here bead manufacturing was one of the specialized crafts during the Mauryan period. The importance of Gujarat coastal sites increased in the succeeding centuries, indicating their role in regional trade networks. So, we find only one port site in the beginning, but later on we find that there was an increase in port sites along the coast in Gujarat, and thus their role in regional trade networks can be understood very properly. The findings at Baroch demonstrate the commercial and industrial activities during the Mauryan period and their continuation into later period. Ujjaini and Vidisha. These are important sites presently situated in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Ujjaini, which is Ujjain in central India, was a major Mauryan administrative and economic hub, revealing NBPW and several small ivory seals with owner's name in early Brahmi script. So here we find seals made up of elephant's teeth, that is ivory, and along with that we find NBPW ceramics also. Thus we get to know that this was a center of major administrative and economic activities. Vidisha is identified with Vilsha, featured a fortification enclosing an area of about 240 hectares dated to the 2nd century BC. So this was a large site with a great span of 240 hectares, which has been dated to 2nd century BC. The excavations at Vidisha uncovered a rampart built during the Mauryan period, showing strategic importance of the site. So here we get existence of a rampart which was built during the Mauryan times. Both sides reveal the spread of urbanization and administrative reach of Mauryan Empire into Central Asia. So this site shows the influence or control of Mauryan Empire in Central Asia with proper urbanizational features present in them. The archaeological findings from these locations include copper coins, pottery, and structural remains, providing insights into urban planning and material culture. Sites in Maharashtra. What are the important sites present in the state of Maharashtra? Tagara, which is Ter, and Sopara were significant urban centers in Maharashtra during the Mauryan period. So, these are two important urban centers in Maharashtra belonging to the Mauryan period. At Sopara, Ashokan edicts were discovered, indicating the presence of Mauryan administration and its cultural influence. So, this is a site where we find Ashokan edicts, and thus we get to understand that here there was very much influence of Mauryan administration and cultural features like Ashokan Dhamma. Excavations in Tagara revealed black and red burnished pottery typical to the Mauryan period. So, black and red burnished pottery is also a typical feature of the Mauryan era, and this has been found in excavations at Tagar. These sites showcase the expansion of Mauryan urbanization into the Deccan region, reflecting a wide administrative network. So, this is the time from when we find Mauryan administration has been extended right up to the Deccan area, thus showing the administrative power of the Mauryan Empire. The findings provide a snapshot of economic and cultural changes that occurred, linking these regions to the broader Mauryan Empire. Further south, what are the sites to the farther south of the Indian subcontinent. Sites like Maski and Brahmagiri in southern India have yielded Ashokan edicts testifying to the spread of Mauryan influence. So, Maski and Brahmagiri are two important sites where we find Ashokan edicts, and thus we see the spread of Mauryan administration deep into the southern portion of Indian subcontinent. Amravati emerged as a significant cultural center with stupas illustrating the Mauryan period's architectural and religious advances. So, Amravati is a a significant cultural center of the Mauryan period, and Amravati Stupa is one of the most significant feature of Indian history up to date. Hence, it is a very beautiful stupa decorated with extensive sculptures and paintings across it, and thus we get an illustration into the period's architectural and religious advancements. The stupa at Amravati, associated with Mauryan architectural styles, highlight the religious and cultural diffusion under the Mauryan regime. So, this stupa in Amravati is very much significant. It has been beautifully reconstructed up to a certain extent by the Archaeological Survey of India. Anuradhapura, which is located in modern day Sri Lanka, shows evidence of Mauryan influence through its urban planning and use of Brahmi script. So, here we find the Mauryan influence going as far as the country of Sri Lanka, and thus we get to understand the urban influence or the urban power of the Mauryan Empire. These sites collectively underline the Mauryan Empire's extensive reach and impact on architecture, religion, and governance across South Asia. Now, in conclusive overview, we are going to see a summary of the entire discussion. Mauryan period marked a significant expansion in urbanization as evidenced by archaeological findings across a wide geographic spread. Key sites like Pataliputra, Taxila, Ujjaini, and Sopara were central to empire's administrative and economic network. Discoveries such as terracotta ring wells, inscribed edicts, and structured urban layouts highlight advanced civic planning and infrastructural capabilities of the Mauryan Empire. The widespread use of NBPW and appearance of early Brahmi inscriptions indicate a unification of culture and administration under the Mauryan rule. The Mauryan era set foundational aspects of urban development and cultural integration that influenced successive South Asian civilizations. So, thus, we have discussed about the urbanization and its features during the Mauryan period. We have discussed about the important archaeological sites of this era, and this knowledge will help you to crack the competitive exams like UPSC also. So, hoping for your support so that I can bring brighter contents in future. Thank you so much for your love and support.